Dr. Maya Dutt, Professor and Head, Institute of English, University of Kerala. Dr. G.S. Jayashree, Professor, Institute of English, University of Kerala. Director, Center for Women's Studies, University of Kerala. And most importantly, Editor, Samyukta. Professor Abdul Razak, President of the College. Professor Nagendra Kumar, Head of the Department of English. Dr. Prabhakaran, Dr. Manivarman, Dr. Hariharan, paper presenters, participants, staff teaching and non-teaching, and of course, my most beloved students. The task which has been entrusted with me here this morning is that of welcoming all of you to this national seminar sponsored by the University Grants Commission. The subject of the seminar being the marginalization of women and how this marginalization is reflected in, is captured by contemporary Indian writing in English and in the regional languages. We have a long history of marginalizing women. A history spanning thousands of years. A history which unfortunately threatens to survive in the 21st century. A history which is unspeakably shameful and shocking. When I reflect on what we have been doing, what we are to some extent still doing to our women, our mothers, our sisters, and most importantly, our wives, I feel compelled to ask whether we men are human beings or devils. Nevertheless, when I look at this audience, when I look at you, when I look at so many women, I feel somewhat marginalized myself. However, I shall somehow overcome my sense of personal marginalization and carry out the responsibility that has been entrusted with me to the best of my modest ability. If this institution is what it is today, if it, by the grace of the Almighty, achieves tomorrow what it aspires to achieve, it is mainly because we have a management which is far-sighted, dynamic, committed, proactive, and responsive. The personification of the spirit of this management, in fact, this management is Janab Shahal Hasan Mishariyar, President, TKM College Trust, Chairman, Governing Body of the College, and Patron of the seminar. Janab Shahal Hasan Mishariyar had very much wanted to be with us here this morning. He promised us that he would be with us here this morning. However, an unexpected general body meeting of the Cashew Export Promotion Council, convened at short notice in Ernakulam, prevents him from joining us. He has sent us his good wishes. In fact, he has sent us a special message which will be read out by the principal later in the session. I welcome Janab Shahal Hasan Mishariyar in absentia. Dr. Maya Dutt, Professor and Head, Institute of English, University of Kerala, is here to inaugurate the seminar. I am happy to tell you, I am proud to tell you that I am a direct student of hers. When I think of the Institute of English, when I think of Dr. Dutt's classes, when I think of my days as a student there, when I think of my heyday, I become quite nostalgic. I think I was a good student. Wasn't I a good student, ma'am? Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. As ma'am rightly says, I was a good student. But I was also in the habit of cutting classes. I used to cut classes because I had valid reasons. Unlike my present students who cut classes without valid reasons, which is totally unacceptable, makes me furious. Once, I decided, I don't know whether Dr. Dutt remembers it, I remember it as if it took place yesterday. I decided to cut a class of hers. And as I was climbing down the steps of the wooden staircase of the Institute of English, as part of my efforts to flee from the Institute of English building, Dr. Dutt, of all persons, Dr. Dutt came climbing up. My mouth went dry. I was quaking all over. I was unable to speak because Dr. Dutt had a reputation of being a strict teacher, and I understand that she still maintains that reputation, which is good, because teachers have to be strict. But that day, instead of flaring up, Dr. Dutt simply said, okay, you can go. Perhaps she was aware that I was cutting classes because I had valid reasons. I used to cut classes in order to meet important persons in the coffee house. I don't know where those important persons are now, as unfortunately I have lost contact with them. But I do now, I know for sure that they are all married. God save their husbands. Of course, all this is in a lighter vein. If I am anything today, it's because of my teachers, one of the most illustrious of whom is Dr. Maya Dutt. When I started my career as a teacher, I used Dr. Dutt as my role model. She would just walk into the class and start teaching without even a scrap of paper in her hand, and she would dictate notes for hours at a stretch without even a scrap of paper in her hand, and she would deal with each passion, with each topic, to use the Aixian terms, passion and precision. I feel that she has done me a personal favor by accepting our invitation without the slightest hesitation and being present here to inaugurate the seminar. I feel personally grateful to her for it. I welcome you, ma'am. Dr. G.S. Jayashree, Professor, Institute of English, University of Kerala, is here to deliver the keynote address. What shall I say about her? She is a profound scholar, a spellbinding speaker, a brilliant teacher, a committed research guide, a passionate editor, a dynamic organizer, an efficient administrator. And I hope she will not object if I add a future Vice Chancellor. Her journal, Samyukta, is one of the finest academic journals ever published on the subcontinent. It's perfectly proofed and perfectly edited. And by its very existence, it points a finger of scorn at all those shabby, shoddy rags which claim to be academic journals. I feel like becoming a bit personal. A few days back, I sent Dr. Jayashree an article for publication in Samyukta. And within seconds, she just rejected it. How did she know that my article was not good within seconds? Or did she know it by just looking at my name? I don't know what exactly happened. I sent it by email, but maybe because I am not computer savvy, it just came back. It just bounced back. Anyway, I'm going to send it again. Samyukta is a journal which maintains international standards. I don't think we could have found a more appropriate person to deliver the keynote address of this seminar here this morning, because women's studies, at least women's studies in Kerala, is Dr. G.S. Jayashree. I welcome you, ma'am. Welcoming Professor Abdul Razak to this event is like carrying coal to Newcastle or carrying oil to Arabia. But since coal has indeed been carried to Newcastle, And since oil may have to be carried to Arabia in the not too distant future, I welcome him. Professor Abdul Razak is a principal like no other. I am the son of a principal myself, and I have interacted with dozens of principals on a personal basis. I can say with all the emphasis at my command that Professor Abdul Razak is a principal like no other. A principal who is strict but understanding. A principal who is firm but not unreasonable. A principal who wants to have his way but who also sees the perspectives of others. A principal with a passion for excellence but also an equally strong passion for inclusiveness. And for this seminar, the support, the guidance, the kindness, the generosity that we have received from him is simply beyond words. I welcome you, sir. I now welcome the resource persons of the seminar. Dr. Prabhakaran has come from Manonmaniyam Sundarnath University. I think it will be appropriate if I welcome him in Tamil. Let me try. Veriga Perashiriyar avargale. Very good. Am I right? Thank you. Guys, please send a okay. She can't understand Tamil, that's the problem. I think I will welcome Dr. Manivardan also in Tamil. Tangalayum veriga endu varavelkireen. Okay. High time you start studying Tamil. Dr. Hariharan is from the Institute of English. He is from Kerala very much. But he understands Tamil. He speaks Tamil in his house. But he pretends not to know Tamil. Tangalayum veriga endu varavelkireen. I think I have been speaking for quite some time now, and I better wrap up without further delay. Professor Nagendra Kumar, head of the Department of English, is a personal friend of mine. It was he who thought up the whole idea of the seminar and who worked relentlessly to make his idea reality. I welcome you, sir. I welcome the former members of the staff of this college who have been kind enough to spare their time for us, especially Professor S.M. Naushad. I welcome the panelists, the participants, the staff teaching and non-teaching, and last but most, I welcome my dearest students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The presence of Dr. Mayadar, Professor and Head, Institute of English, University of Kerala.